owned a store up in Harpers Ferry, the Harpers Ferry National Park. If you know anything about the Civil War, it was one of America's original armories, established by George Washington. In fact, in the 1800s, they supplied about 80% of the weapons used in the U.S. Army and the militia and so forth. So historically, it's an incredibly famous place. But in terms of this day and age, yeah, my wife and I, we own the retail store up there, we own the pizza shop up there, and we accumulated a lot of friends there in that corner of West Virginia. And my wife still does shows. She's a leather crafter, so they have shows once a month. And so that means that that's the day that the husband's got to do the husband duties. So, she's a leather crafter. So she's been doing this for 25 years now, more or less. Fantastic sales lady, fantastic in the retail world. But in the retail world, many places like the national parks or amusement parks or sort of focal get-together points of significance around the country, they often have craft shows or different types of entertainment shows in the warm weather. And so they're great places for the artists and the crafters of the world to set up tables and tents and meet the thousands of people that come by and sell their products. And actually there are folks who've created an entire career out of this type of activity. So I mean, when we talk about entrepreneurialism one day and we want to use some off the mainstream examples, it's the perfect topic to think about. But from a historical point of view, I can share this with the voters. George Washington has lots of living DNA descendants in Harpers Ferry and Charlestown to this very day. Because back in colonial times, that's the intersection of where the Shenandoah River meets coming up from Virginia, and then the Potomac River meets, which is coming down from Pennsylvania. They meet right there at Harpers Ferry. But in colonial times, rivers were highways. They were the interstate highway system. And so they were extremely popular places to move to. And many members of George Washington's family that didn't settle, in Virginia around Mount Vernon, they traveled out to Harpers Ferry in Charlestown, which is just a little town right next to Harpers Ferry. However, in George Washington's day, West Virginia was not West Virginia. It was still part of Virginia. So, and then Harpers Ferry, of course, was part of Virginia. So in colonial times, they just moved further out west into Virginia. And to finish up that topic, in the very beginning of westward expansion, the entire state of Kentucky was part of Virginia. So Virginia was America's biggest state back in the time of George Washington, and it stretched literally all the way from the Atlantic Ocean pretty much to the Mississippi River, going through Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky.